Is the sound of running water in your toilet driving you crazy and running up your water bill? Chances are you need a new flapper. The flapper forms a seal over the opening that allows water to rush from the tank into the bowl, flushing the toilet. Over time, they wear out and must be replaced. It's really easy to do. Just remove the old flapper, taking note as to how it's connected. It's a good idea to take it with you to the store to make sure you get the right size. When you get home, simply install it by reversing the steps you used to remove it. Most of the time, this will fix the problem. But if replacing the flapper doesn't do the trick, you may have a leaky tank. Find the source of the leak, and you're well on your way to solving the problem. Start by adding red food coloring to the tank. It'll make spotting the leak a lot easier. If you spot one along the supply line, tighten the fittings a quarter turn. If there's water around the base of the tank, check the washers in the tank to make sure they're seated properly. If they seem to be, tighten the tank bolts a quarter turn. If these simple steps don't do the trick, then the fill valve, tank bolt, or tank gasket is leaking and the source of the problem. If the fill valve is leaking, turn off the water supply valve, flush the toilet, disconnect the supply line from the tank, and sponge the inside of the tank until it's dry. Don't worry about touching the water in the tank. Unlike the water in the bowl, it's clean. Next, unscrew the fill valve lock nut. Remove the fill valve and replace with a new unit. If the tank is leaking, use a screwdriver and adjustable wrench to remove each tank bolt, nut, and gasket. Clean the bolts and nuts with white vinegar and a small wire brush, and reinstall the bolts and nuts with new gaskets. Alternate the tightening of the bolts to evenly draw the tank tight. And finally, if the tank gasket is leaking, remove the bolts and lift the tank straight up and off the toilet base. Toilet tanks are often in an awkward place and are heavier than you think, so having a helping hand is a must. Set the tank upside down on an old towel or rug since it may be wet. Remove the tank gasket and take it with you to your local Home Depot to get the correct replacement. Place the new washer over the flush valve tailpiece. Lower the tank onto the base so the bolts go through the holes, and reconnect the bolts, gaskets, and nuts. Reinstall the supply tube coupling and fill valve. Then turn on the water and check for any leaks. If you still have a problem, it's time to call a plumber. But chances are good your leaky toilet is a thing of the past.